WordCamp, not a big audience, but still it's a good one. Maybe we'll have a discussion because in smaller audience, maybe it's more likely to have a good discussion. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Przemysław Taront. I'm from Wunderman Thompson Technology, and I'm based in Poland. I'm an engineer at heart, although currently not actively working as an engineer, and Sitecore developer since 2010. And apart from doing a couple of projects, I also contributed to Cognified Zen Garden. That was even mentioned in one of the very first session by Andy. He mentioned when Adam Neymanowicz came in with SXA. Yeah, I was the second after Adam. I worked with Adam for a couple of years, so I totally understand Andy's reaction to Adam. Yeah, I'm an engineer, so I'm not a visionary leader. So of course, like the topic into the future of content is, I won't give you the answer because the answer comes from other places. I'm just here bringing you this message. And we've been thinking about it for a long time within Wunderman Thompson Technology. We had a lot of conversation. I had personally a lot of conversation with our CTO about this topic. And this is like the summary. This is what Mike did take away from the direction we are taking as WTT into the future, because we not only bring the message, but we also follow this direction. I will give you the details in the presentation. Sorry, there's no demo. I'm not that brave to give any demos. Only me talking, but we'll keep it short. That's a good thing. So Wunderman Thompson Technology, this mysterious company is actually the sponsor of this event. So I owe you a short introduction who you are actually. So the brand is very new. Wunderman Thompson has 4 years old, and Wunderman Thompson Technology, a sub-brand, is actually only 2 years old. But it consists of companies that exist for a long time already, like 20 plus years. So we got together. We are part of a large network. We are part of WPP, but we have a strong local presence, specifically in this part of Europe. We are present in Poland, in Poznań, Bydgoszcz, and Katowice, and also here locally in Budapest. So we have a bunch of people from our Budapest office today. I won't speak about our clients. We all know that we work for global brands. Just a few words about us. This is a sponsor session, so I can put a little bit of product placement here. Who you are? Yeah, we drive to create and to learn things and to exchange the knowledge between us to acquire new knowledge and new skills. And of course, superb atmosphere, good vibes, flat structure, open and flexible. All the things, your company probably has the same, but yeah, we are there. We are also doing good things. So it was the first product placement, sorry about it, and there will be a second one, but the second one is actually part of the narrative. So the second one is kind of justified. So in this presentation, I want to speak or speculate about the future. But you cannot speak about the future not thinking what we have right now and what was in the past. So we'll go over the entire timeline, and we'll start with prehistory. So in the beginning, there was a website, and I checked it for you. The first website went live on 6th of August 1991. At the time, I was 8 years old and 3 days. There was a single web page, not a website, just a web page created by the guy named Tim Berners-Lee, and it was about World Wide Web. Of course, this is not this website. This is a different website, but you can imagine this style of the early website. The reason why it's so, let's call it ugly, is because it was done by developers. And this is the reality of first website. Websites were done by developers. Why? Because it was difficult to create a website. There was a magic wisdom how to create a website. You need to code to actually get a website. I know it's HTML, it's a markup, not a code, not a big deal. Everyone knows HTML these days. We have much more difficult syntax and languages. But at the time, really creating a website was limited only to developers. So, of course, early days, it had to change. And the answer to this was the CMS. So, 1995, the date is already revealed here. That was the year when the first CMS came out. Actually, there were two CMSs in the very first. One name was FileNet, the other was Vignette. Both were released in 1995. And they had like simple workflows, simple content management, and they gave this ability to change, at the time, not experience only content or part of the content, selected content on a website by a non-technical user, a marketer. Perfect. So we achieved that, and then it was followed by a number of other. I've just noted down Interwoven, Documentum, Fatwire, Future Tense. That's everything in 1996, and then Episerver in 1997. Probably you already know this name, currently optimized. So we have those first CMSs, very primitive one. They start to develop, and this is when Sitecore joins the stage, and we enter this era of big monolithic CMSs, right? Sitecore is a great example of this, but of course there were others, right? Well, what we are getting? First of all, we can change literally everything on the website, right? Is it any part of the content, but also the experience, right? So it's fully flexible, right? Of course, it's aimed at non-technical users. There's entire ecosystem built around content management, analytics, personalization, testing, email, social, you name it. But all those modules follow the same monolithic paradigm. So there's a monolith surrounded by other monoliths. Well, theoretically, you can exchange one monolith for one from different vendor, but in reality, you don't want to do it because it just costs a lot of money. But it's like customization options are endless. You can do basically anything you want. You can integrate with any third party. The system is highly customizable. And by the way, it struck me that it's a paradox, right? We are building a system enabling non-technical users to edit content. At the same time, we're generating so much work for developers. It's actually golden age of us developers because we can do so much coding. There's so many options. A product based on monolithic CMS, it's going really a big thing. But the main problem with those, apart from being a monolith, which already is a taboo word, but apart from being a monolith, there's another problem with those CMSs until this point. This is the fact that they're all focused around the web. They're a web content management system. Everything is organized around the web. It's not really content management system. It's content for the web management system or web content management system. If you look at the information architecture in the CMS, it just follows the website structure, right? You can do whatever you want, but most likely you will just follow the architecture of your website. So everything, content is not in the center of this CMS at the time. Another class of the system arose, which is digital asset management. Again, some monolith, and you can, of course, connect them or not, put a lot of code to integrate those. So you have those CMSs, we have the dance. Everything until this point is the past. Now we're entering the present, and just by attending this conference, you see there are two huge trends going on right now. The first one, it's called Minimalized ways, rise of content identity. I'll tell you why, but in short words, it's a Sitecore content hub. So, a Style Lab, I'm actually a great fan of Style Labs. It was a great product before. It was acquired by Sitecore, but of course, still it is, and it's even getting better. It was actually a great move to do this acquisition. So, I'm really happy that there are more acquisitions of that time going on. But Style Labs was the first one. So what it does, it takes a DAM, it takes content management, and it just goes to two things together. They're equal, content and assets, a democratic union, let's say. But then there is something more important than content and asset itself, because they are just grouped around entities, real-world entities. A brand, a product, an object for real world. That's the focal point. And then content and assets place, like they are there just to describe this entity. So a piece of content is no longer just a rich text on a website. It actually is an attribute of something real. And this is actually important. That's a shift in paradigm. Maybe we are using Sitecore Content Hub. Maybe we are not realizing this potential yet, but it's in there. Like systems like these are truly content management systems. So we are back to the root, because the system is about managing content. And one additional statement that will be used later in this presentation is this: that right now the content starts acting as data. You can do with the content the same you can do with data. You can apply metadata, you can apply taxonomy, and most importantly, you can start building relation between content. It leads to building knowledge, building semantic network, semantic web, however you call it, right? It's not longer a piece of text that will be used only once. It's something more than that. We'll come to this later. And then the second trend, which is probably more obvious, ComposableDXP, or headless, or there's so many names for this trend. But of course, in essence, we are decoupling the view and the content, the way it's delivered from the way it's managed and stored. So again, we're getting back to the original idea of CMS. It's about managing content, not about delivering it to this one particular channel, because web is no longer the privileged channel, the most important channel. Right now, we are forgetting about the web. All channels are treated equally, which opens new opportunity, because right now, other channels are not longer secondary. They're just equally important as the web. Now, of course, like this ComposableDXP brings a lot of other goodness, right? The architectural goodness, because we have smaller, well-defined pieces talking via API. You can pick the one you want. You can exchange them. You're not stick to one vendor theoretically. So it brings a lot of goodness. But for me, the most important is the fact that together with the previous one, the content becomes more important. Now, the content is important, but the content grows, right? So another issue comes in: how to keep the content tidy, in a good shape, with good quality, how to manage a large amount of content. And right now, I'll do this product placement thing, and I will tell you about the brand Guardian, which is a product we've been developing in Wunderman Thompson for the last, let's say, 2 years. Right now, it's already there in the market. We're talking to the first client. First, let's start with a video, and then I'll explain more what it does.
Digital experiences have the power to make or break relationships with customers, but delivering them creates a huge demand for content, which must be creative, compliant, quality assured, and inclusive. So how do you make sure all this works in harmony, at speed, and at scale, across hundreds of thousands of assets and hundreds of different touchpoints? WPP Open Brand Guardian, created by Wunderman Thompson, is an AI-driven platform that gives marketing, creative, and production teams total content quality assurance. Brand Guardian is built and battle-tested to manage your content. It ensures seamless consistency across your digital estate, while checking your content for diversity and accessibility, assuring inclusive campaigns that speak to everyone. It takes care of all your compliance issues, legal, industry, and market requirements. And it ensures creative excellence, boosting content performance and optimizing assets for every destination. Brand Guardian simply plugs into your existing creative production process. It connects with your current toolset and scales across all partners and brands globally, and is completely customizable to your exact business needs. It cuts the approvals process in half compared to manually checking assets. And by accelerating production and removing bottlenecks, it frees up teams to focus on more inspiring creative and strategic work. Unleash the power of Brand Guardian and discover how you could modernize workflow processes, improve efficiency, and assure the quality, consistency, and diversity of your customer experiences.
So the video already probably told you a lot of the things. So we have a tool to check for compliance. And this can be legal compliance of your assets or brand compliance, accessibility, or whatever your rules you want to enforce over your digital assets, including content and assets. This is because like number of content is growing and you have basically no control over designers, marketeers creating the content. So you want to add like a gate to check for certain rules, to check for basically quality. A short sneak peek into the architecture. So on the left-hand side, we have the tools we are plugging into. Creative tools, digital asset managements, workflow tools. And of course, Sitecore Content Hub was one of the very first systems we integrated with. It's shown under workflow, but could be also under digital asset management, depending which model of Content Hub you have in mind. Then any asset created in this tool just enters the central piece of Brand Guardian. And that actually does two things. The first, it analyzes the assets to establish certain facts. For that, of course, we're using different tools. Some checks are very simple. We can check the metadata of a file, check the extension size. That's an obvious one. But of course, anything not obvious can be analyzed using different AI tools, and there are many of those. Image recognitions, voice recognition, video analysis, different kind of analysis you can run over asset to extract certain facts. And I'll show you an example what kind of facts they are. And then in the second step, the rules are executed over the content to check if the rules are met or not, check rules or guidelines. Of course, the analyzers are extendable and the rules, there are some predefined, but you can also extend them. So it's customizable, extendable, and then the result is fed back to the original tool or to some other place so you can check what the result is. Or you can actually do something in your work, reject an asset or whatever. So an example of this would be like take this image. If this is like a one blob image, then of course the first step would be to divide it into smaller chunks. And let's run some recognition. So if we detect a piece of text, we can run an OCR and we can check what font it is, what colors, and so on. So we know everything about a text rendered into the image. If we detect a person, then we can check appearance of this person, mood, gender, age, or at least how it looks at the picture. Knowing all the facts, then we can run the rules, right? We can check if the logo is properly displayed, those brand guidelines, and the logo cannot be against wrong background color. We can check the length of the text, the positioning. We want to check if maybe our brand requires us to show only happy people, so we check if people are happy. Or maybe our brand says no people. It's actually dangerous. Don't show people because we're entering those things with diversity, which is complicated. So maybe it's better not to show people. That's also a rule. So whatever rule the brand the customer has, we can apply here. And simple things like aspect ratio and so on. So, okay, is it the future? Because like as I said, I will be talking about the future. I'm presenting you this product, and it's using AI. And the answer is not, because it's a nice tool, it's a good, recommend it to anyone, but it's a tactical step, right? We are using AI, but we are still doing things from the old world, when we simply control the marketeers and designers if they are doing the right thing, right? It's only a control, governance, compliance tool, right? AI can do more, and I expect the future with AI to be something more than that. So the problem we are solving right now is solved only partially. And what the problem really is, right? And I will tell you the story of content quality that exists, the problem exists and still hasn't been solved. So back in the days, we started with curated content. And let's think about newspapers, the way they looked like 100 years ago, 200 years ago. So there were like smart journalists writing articles to newspapers. Everything was published in newspapers were of high quality, credible, you can trust basically newspapers. And newspapers and modern media actually changed the society. It was like great revolution at the time. But okay, let's talk about the issue. It's there. Then the second trend that came mainly with the internet is the user-generated content, right? So it started from those different kind of forums, and then it spread over the entire internet. Right now it's also on social. So multiple people submitting their content. And it works well if you have close or maybe moderated community. Sitecore Stack Exchange is one of those, but no, most communities doesn't work like that. It actually can go mass, and the problem is that this content is cheap because people are just usually creating this content for free, most of them. But the quality is questionable, or it's simply low. Before, the curated content was of high quality, but let's be honest, it's expensive. So now coming back to MarTech world, when we are marketers, we want to create content, we have two options. We can rely on user-generated content. It's free, but it's low quality. At the same time, it's better for marketers to stick to curated content, the one they carve on their own. But this content is expensive to create. And another problem is, newspaper is one for all. Like everyone reads the same newspaper. You have a couple of newspapers, but still, there's like one version. So of course, in the digital marketing, we want to personalize, yes? And we have so many tools to personalize. But well, the personalization, how it works today, is just you need to create more curated content for each and every variant, each and every condition, however you call it. You need to provide another copy, another piece of text. So it means that creating content is even more expensive because you need to create several variants of this content. And you don't even know if you are doing the right thing because you establish certain conditions. Is it good or not? Is it the way to segment your clients or not? And of course, there are two answers to this already. One is A/B testing to check if you are doing good or wrong, but A/B testing is also expensive. And of course, you can apply AI, no surprise, to do auto-segmenting. It's actually a smart choice, why not? But still, it's not the ultimate. So what I would expect from content quality, what's the ultimate goal is? So the goal is to have, sorry to say that, but cheap, but high quality content. And ideally, the content should be personalized, but not like 10 copy for 10 different segments. It should be simply unique for everyone. Everyone deserves their own content, right? We call this, in the AI space, they start calling this hyper-personalized, meaning that it's personalized to the extent that it's unique, right? Hyper-personalized content. That's what we expect from content quality. And now we are reaching, we are, artificial intelligence, right? So how artificial intelligence works right now? Probably, if you think about AI, at least when I think about AI, I mean about like a chatbot. Then I write, maybe it's a chatbot that a bot that actually recognizes my voice, so I can speak. That's maybe easier. And I ask a question. It does proper understanding of my intent, and it gives me an answer. And the answer today is usually, let's be honest, a wall of text from Wikipedia on the given term, right? I'm asking about something, and it just reads me everything it knows about something. This is how AI work today, or maybe worked just until recently. And that's not the goal. The next step would be so that AI is able to provide, and I'm going back to this content identity slide, we need not like an answer from one single source, but from all possible sources. So imagine AI is building a semantic web of knowledge. It has the knowledge, and it's actually giving the answer based on its knowledge, right? Because reading a Wikipedia article is not enough. Then the answer is much more valuable. It's not something I can Google myself, because the knowledge doesn't exist in like a single page. It's there. It's like human brain, right? The knowledge is the connection in the human brain, and here also we're talking about the content that's semantically connected. So AI is giving the answer based on the knowledge it has, and in the final step, the answer is hyper-personalized. So it's specially carved to my needs, to my person, all the facts it knows about me, and also the point in time I am, right? My state of my brain and knowledge, even simple things like time of day and my mood, right? You're already tired because it's the end of the day. I'm trying to keep it short because I know you are tired. So of course I cannot just go into too much detail because it's way too late. If my speech was earlier, I could maybe do this. And the AI of the future would know this and would give proper answer depending on all the conditions it could get. Now, having AI that is able to provide this hyper-personalized answer based on the knowledge actually is the missing piece in building truly conversational interfaces, right? And we have those elements, right? We have the interfaces are being developed, right? Speech recognition, voice recognition, image recognition, and so on. And of course, speech generation. So the elements are there, but the answer we're getting today is not good quality. So we are missing this hyper-personalized content there. If we would have it, then we would have would have the truly conversational interface. And of course, like it's in the market space, it's also you can think like interacting with a brand or product or doing e-commerce in this world would be very much different. But it's of course of general purpose. It's not only in market space, but in any space. And the last problem is, and you see those bulky VR Google on the right-hand side. Personally, I hate it. I think it's so stupid to wear something on your head. So I think the last step would be to work on this interaction because it's currently we are kind of adjusting to the AI, trying to speak slowly or wearing those goggles because this is what AI knows. But in the future, this AI must simply adapt to us, right? It's this ultimate AI hyper-personalized to our needs and also the way it provides us. So the channels, I have the freedom of choice if I'm going to speak to AI, write to AI, or AI, reads my what I'm thinking, right? It must be totally adaptable to us humans. So I went far ahead, I know. But like this trend, we are pretty excited about this trend. And what I wanted to say at the end is what we're actually doing with that. So first of all, we bought VR goggles just to do some experimenting. We are actually hiring AI engineers, which is not that obvious in the MarTech and content experience agency. But we are doing this. First of all, why we need AI engineers? We need to invest in Brand Guardian and build tools like that. And this is tactical, but also we are doing strategic things. We are running R&D based on AI to see what we can do with the AI and the content to be prepared what's gonna happen. And according to my CTO, it's gonna to happen soon. So yeah, watch this space. It will disrupt at some point. ComposableDXP is not the end of the history. There is more to come. And thank you. That's it.
Any questions?
You mentioned about the product and the client, and based on yesterday's quiz, do you have like any free tier, or I know for us developers to be able to take a look at this product?
Why not? I'll check and get back to you. I don't know what option we have. But
is it a standalone product, or is it somehow integrated within the interface of Content Hub?
No, it's a standalone Azure hosted app, and APIs, connectors, and a modern architecture. So it's not a monolith, not anymore.
Okay. Is this like a software as a service, or?
It is software as a service.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for being a Platinum sponsor. It means a lot for us for building up this conference. So thank you.
Thanks.